What's up, YouTube? Donovan the Smartphone Guy coming back at you with another video, and tonight I'm excited to share with you my 48-hour impressions of the Nokia 6. So like I mentioned, I've had it for 48 hours. Actually, I've had it for 72 hours, but I've been using it as my daily driver for the last 2 days. So let's go ahead and talk about what I think about this device so far in those last 2 days. So this is a device you can pick up on Amazon. So I'll go ahead and jump into the app and show you. So you can pick it up for $180 on Amazon.com. That's the Prime exclusive version. So that comes with some lock screen ads. Or you can pick it up for $230 and just kind of get rid of the lock screen ads altogether. Now, you can save yourself 50 bucks. I'll leave a link down in the description to Jeff Springer's video from Dope Tech Daily, because he actually did a great video that kind of walks you through how to get rid of those ads with the Prime exclusive version. Save yourself 50 bucks. Super simple to follow. It took me, I think, maybe 5 minutes to get rid of the ads. It does also work with the Moto E4. I tested it out with that device. I tried it also with the Alcatel Idol 5S, and it did not work. So I tried a number of options to get rid of the lock screen ads on that device. Didn't work at all. So at least with the Nokia 6 and the Moto E4, it does work. So let's go ahead and jump back into this device over here. So the Nokia 6, we have an aluminum build, 4G LTE, and it does work with voice over LTE, which you can see right here. We have voice over LTE at the moment set up on the phone. Now I'm using it with T-Mobile. It is unlocked to work with AT&T, T-Mobile, Metro PCS, Cricket, and any other MVNOs, as long as they're GSM networks. So it won't work with Sprint and Verizon and Virgin Mobile and other MVNOs associated with those CDMA companies. So we also have 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of onboard storage, and as it mentions here, it is expandable with micro SD card. So you can put up to 128 gigabytes, is according to their specs, what it will work with. We have a 16 megapixel camera on the back, and I did a ton of photos with this. Most of the photos I took so far were with good lighting, so I don't know the low light functionality of the device yet. When I do my full review, we'll talk about that. We have 8 megapixel autofocus as well on the front, so we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So we have a 430, Snapdragon 430, Qualcomm Snapdragon 430 processor that is clocked at 1.4 gigahertz. 5.5-inch 1080p Full HD display, and then we do have actually dual speakers with Dolby built into it, so we'll take a listen to those at the end of the video as well. So let's start out this quick 48-hour impressions with the build quality. So build quality wise, I really like the build quality. As they mention on the box, it does have that nice aluminum build to it. No doubt about it that it is a premium build. It does have kind of some sharp corners here, so if there's anything to complain about with the build quality, I would say maybe that might be it, but they did a nice job of kind of hiding the antenna bands here, so I think that looks kind of like a cool design. So you can see a microphone up here. We have our 16 megapixel camera. We do have a dual flash there as well. Now it does charge with micro USB, so a little bit of an older standard, but that's because all of the 400 series Snapdragon processors will only work with micro USB at the moment. So there's one of our speakers, another microphone. Up here we have our other speaker and our earpiece as well. There's our 8 megapixel camera on the front. Now it does have some Nokia branding right there up at the top, but I have a tempered glass screen protector over it at the moment. So we do have our, this is actually a dual SIM tray, a dual SIM card tray. So you can put 2 SIM cards in it, or you can put 1 SIM card in it and a micro SD card in there as well. So those are your options. So in terms of build quality, let's go ahead and talk about the display as well. So the display does get nice and bright, so we'll turn it way up there. I had no problem at the brightest setting, seeing it in a super bright day. So yesterday was my anniversary. We went out to the beach, and at the brightest setting, I could see it quite well, but I did have to turn it all the way up in order to see it in the broad daylight. So that's pretty normal though, especially, on a super bright sunny day. But I do really like the display. It's certainly not super AMOLED, but I do like the colors. And build quality wise, I'd probably give it like, 4.6 out of 5, I guess. So an A minus. Nice build quality to it for sure. The next thing I want to talk about is the performance. So this is running that Snapdragon 430 processor, as I mentioned before. And so far, I haven't had a whole lot of hiccups. So far, gaming has been pretty good on it. I've only played a few games, so like NBA Jam, I played Beach Buggy Racing, a lot of social media, a lot of video watching, YouTube, Netflix, things like that. And it's definitely not going to be the fastest device. Going from app to app is not going to be the smoothest process, but you can see that, scrolling through it is going to be pretty quick. There's, and then we'll go through, there's my Google Home feed there, not Google Home, what is this called? Google Now feed, and that looks pretty good. I mean, there's really no major hiccups. I've had other devices with the Snapdragon 430, so I believe that LG K20 Plus had that same processor. The LG Stylo 3 Plus had the 435, so a little bit newer version of this, but basically the same processor because they're both clocked at 1.4 gigahertz. And so far, I would say that performance is pretty good. Certainly not going to be the highest end performing. I would have preferred definitely the Snapdragon 625 processor in here, but for the price, I think it's a pretty decent performer. Next thing I want to talk about is the software. So software-wise, this thing is basically about as stock Android as you could possibly get. If we go into the settings and look in here, basically it is 100% stock. If we go down here, you can see we're running Android 7.1.1, and we're at the June security patch. So definitely, I imagine that this phone will probably get pretty regular updates simply because it is basically 100% stock. The only bloatware that comes on it, because I have the Amazon Prime exclusive version, was a bunch of Amazon apps, and using Jeff Springer's method to get rid of the lock screen edge, you can actually get rid of all of the bloatware that it comes with as well, if that's something that you choose. Or you could, of course, disable all those apps if you're not an Amazon customer. Maybe that's something you want to consider. But for me, I'm fully invested into Amazon, and so I don't mind having all those ads, but otherwise it's pretty much just stock Android. So I like that. I do like some of the features that, like, for instance, Motorola puts on with stock Android. Nokia didn't really do any of that. We just have a couple of things here. So one gesture, jump to camera, basically just hit the power button twice. So there's our power button. You just hit it twice to jump to the camera. That one works just fine. We have some motion ones as well. So there's turn over to reject phone call, mute to pick up, and then that's it. That's pretty much it. Other than that, it is stock Android. And you will notice here that it does also mention here tap and pay, and that's because there is NFC. So it's pretty rare to find NFC in a phone at this price point. There are definitely some. The LG Stylo 3 Plus is one of them, but it is nice that they offer NFC, so for mobile payments and things like that, that's a nice option. And let's next talk about the battery life. So far in my 48 hours, I've had really good battery life with this. So that actually is in contrast with some other reviews that I've watched. So let's just give you a kind of an example here. So I'm at 38%, been using it all day. You can see at the beginning of the day, I was pretty much just I was working outside, working on my yard, and so I didn't use it a whole lot, but then, this evening I've been using it a ton. So screen on time, let's look at it. So nearly 4 hours of screen on time, and what was the battery percentage at again? So we're at 38%. So judging by that, you're looking at probably close to 6 hours, maybe even better than 6 hours of screen on time, which is pretty darn fantastic in my opinion. You can see that I've been watching, I don't think I even use that app, honestly, but a lot of YouTube, a little bit of Netflix, watched a show earlier on Netflix, but lots of Messenger for sure. Facebook Messenger, I use that as my texting app, so I use that a lot. But yeah, I would say in terms of battery life so far, in the 2 full days of usage, battery life has been pretty consistently very good. 6 hours of screen on time. So this is a 3,300 milliamp hour battery, I believe. And so far, I would say that easily a day, no problem. So you can see it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. I've been using it pretty regularly since right around 4 o'clock this afternoon. and yes, 38%. So that's pretty good. I definitely give that a thumbs up so far for battery life. So the next area that I want to talk about is those speakers. So again, I mentioned here that we do have those dual speakers, so we'll go ahead and take a listen to those. And then the last thing we'll talk about is the cameras. And again, I'll throw up a bunch of pictures, sample pictures that I took on my anniversary. So a lot of pictures of myself and my wife in there. But let's go ahead and take a listen to some music, and then we'll listen to that. And then we'll go ahead and jump into the cameras. So here we go. So Google Play Music. And I really like that we have those dual speakers. But I've probably mentioned that 3 or 4 times already in this. Let's go ahead and jump out of that. So my running music. All right, here we go. Crank that up.
Making music for the people. Light shine bright everywhere we go. Light shine bright everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. Music for the people. Making music for the people. I wanna magnify your light. I wanna reflect the sun. Cadillac precious diamonds with colors.
Okay, so one of the things you'll probably notice there is that earpiece speaker is a whole lot quieter than I've definitely, the majority of the output is coming from down here. So they claim 7.2 watts. It's definitely not evenly distributed between the two. Whoops, I had my microphone turned around, but it's definitely not evenly distributed between the two. The majority of the volume comes from the bottom speaker, which is pretty much true of most devices like this, like the HTC U11. That's similar. Almost all the volume comes out of the bottom, but overall, I do like the sound quality coming out of this, and it is nice that they offer those dual speakers. So that is the speaker situation. So in terms of cameras so far, I would say that I've actually been pretty impressed with the cameras. Now, again, I'll reserve the right to change my mind on the cameras simply because the majority of the pictures I took yesterday, as you can see, it was a super bright sunny day in Grand Haven, Michigan for our anniversary. And so we took quite a few pictures. I'll leave some of the pictures at the end of the video so you can take a look at the details that they offer. But go ahead and zoom in here. So this is the front-facing camera here. So you can see good details there. So that's, pretty decent picture, I would say. A lot of couple selfies there. But let's go ahead and jump into this and see what kind of details we get in here. So there's a lighthouse in the background. So that's quite a ways away. And you can see pretty decent details in that. So I would say so far I've been pretty impressed. Now again, it was a super bright sunny day, so almost ideal situations for taking pictures. But overall, so far I've been pretty impressed with the cameras. Certainly not in the realm of like the HTC U11 or even the Samsung Galaxy S8, but overall the picture quality so far has been pretty good. So overall, I would definitely say that for $180, especially since you can easily get rid of those lock screen ads, right now I call this phone a buy. Now, I do want to mention one thing that does kind of bug me, and that is that as far as I can tell, there is no fast charging whatsoever involved with this phone. So it does come with a 2-amp charger, and again, it's micro USB. But it seems to take quite a while to charge. I think when I plugged it in the first time, it was almost like maybe 3 to 4 hours to charge it up. So as far as I can tell, there is no fast charging with this device. So if you're used to fast charging, you're definitely not getting it with this Nokia 6. But other than that, I think there's quite a bit that you're getting for $180, especially if you want to just jump through and quickly get rid of those lock screen ads. But nice package so far. Again, I'll reserve my final review to change my mind, but so far I'd say this is definitely a winner in my opinion. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as possible, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.